Let's ride. Come on.
So 37.
Episode 37 of the Living Room Chat podcast.
You're going to get your drink for a little product placement.
Yeah, we need sponsors.
Yeah, Coca-Cola would be great.
Oh, do you want to be a sponsor? No, I wouldn't give a fuck, actually.
I'd take it.
Yeah. All that prim and proper stuff. Oh.
So, I've got a question to ask you as well, but I'll save it for the podcast.
Mate,
I'll ask you that firstly. Welcome back. This is episode 37 of the Living Room Chat podcast with Matt and Ryan and our beverages of choice here with us today.
I've gone for the Coca-Cola Zero Sugar because I like to think I'm drinking something that's not going to kill me. And it won't kill me in the long run, but you never know. It's not good for you anyway.
But it's tasty and much better than Diet Coke in my opinion. And this is a Aldi Lidl San Pellegrino.
Don't know.
It's good. It's like,
I think it's Aldi.
Tastes like posh Fanta.
It's all right, isn't it? It's like not as tangy. It's like
It's refreshing.
yeah, refreshing.
It's giving like
We've got the lemon one as well. I'm not sure the lemon one.
I don't know. The question I was going to ask you though, give me your 3 favourite brands. Now, give me your 3 favourite clothes brands. I asked my brother this the other day.
3 favourite clothes brand. What, to me personally, or just?
Yeah, like it's Ryan Bloomfield.
Yeah.
And you can only wear 3 brands for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You know, we've all got those brands we just sort of connect with. We don't really know why.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. The first one is I just love. It's more sports related, but I love them. Under Armour.
Okay, interesting. Wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, like the t-shirts. I've got t-shirts, shorts. They're just for sport. You know, as a prime athlete as I am, runner, footballer, mountain biker, hero. Like, I love Under Armour kit. It's just great. Just enjoy it. So that's my first one.
Okay, fair.
Second one, I wear a lot of All Saints.
Yeah.
Just the t-shirts just feel fit well.
All Saints kind of guy.
I reckon the Hugo Boss at the moment.
So I see. Yeah,
It might have been in the other episode before, but you know, obviously we're filming at different times. So.
Completely different time. Yeah.
So yeah, I like the All Saints t-shirts work well. And third, a difficult one. I'll probably go. Oh, that sounds bad because I think it's like a lower value brand.
Hey.
But I do wear a lot of Puma.
Okay. Yeah, we both
Puma shorts,
with
Puma
trainers.
trackies, Puma t-shirts, Puma hoodies, Puma trainers. I'm literally a Puma model.
Interesting.
With a shit hairline. It's getting worse, man.
That's the title of the episode. I'm a Puma model with a shit hairline.
Yeah, that's me. So, what's your brands? Because clearly you've obviously thought about it.
Yeah, so my 3 brands would be Nike,
yeah,
Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein.
Interesting.
If I were 3 brands, that's if I could only wear 3
Do you
brands.
own anything that's Tommy Hilfiger? I must admit, I don't think I've ever seen you anything Tommy Hilfiger.
Yeah, I've got Tommy Hilfiger Chelsea boots. I've got Tommy Hilfiger t-shirt.
Maybe you have. Maybe I actually don't pay too much attention to the branding.
Tommy Hilfiger socks. I like Tommy Hilfiger. I like the way the red, the navy, and the white just sort of go together.
Yeah.
It's just a good colour combo for me.
Yeah.
Nike, I just like the story. Phil Knight, when he started Nike, it's a good story. I like the brand. Love how big it is. Yeah,
Fair enough.
You know the book Shoe Dog?
No.
Shoe Dog is a memoir of Phil Knight who built Nike.
Really? I didn't realise that.
And I always thought Nike were the big dog and Adidas were the underdog, but it's actually the other way around.
Do you know what? I've heard that on a podcast I've listened to before, but I can't remember why I've listened to it. But yeah, that makes sense.
So then I like Nike more because they're like the underdog who came up. So I wear a lot of Nike stuff. Nike or Nike? I never actually know.
Don't, mate, whatever floats your boat.
Comment section will tell me.
Talk about underdog stories. I've got a couple of films that I've watched recently that I think you'd really dig, but we'll talk about it at the end. So
okay.
Make sure you listen to the end of the episode where I give away some fantastic films to watch. Inspirational, driven, hard-working underdog stories.
Sounds
but
like
before that, what have we got in store for this episode of the chat?
So let's keep estate agency related.
Yeah.
Let's do the photo chat, funny photos, listing photos which stand out as being awful.
And I've got a couple of examples that I've mentioned to you previously, and I'm going to use them for the examples here, and we'll put them on the screen as well. So they're quite funny.
Yeah.
Cool.
And if I have time, I'll tell you about my woes of the new year.
Yeah, which I've heard about, but I feel like it's a very poignant thing for a self-employed agent or actually any estate agent, but for the little guys who are in the shop front, it's not going to matter to them. It's the big bosses that are going to get. But it does matter to them, actually. Sorry, that's a really stupid thing to say. We'll talk about that.
Matters to everyone, which is quite an unknown, which I'm going through at the
Yeah,
moment.
we'll shed the light on that. It's worth a listen if you are self-employed or an estate agent or both. Anyway, there we go. So let's kick it off with. It sparked an interest. A couple of guys I follow on Instagram have been doing videos of poor estate agency listings, like incorrectly priced or wrong information. Big freehold detached house listed as leasehold, like things that are actually making an issue. And they're all very small. But it got me thinking, and I've seen a few of them, and there's one particular photo which we'll put on the screen now. This one. I find it hilarious when estate agents are taking photos and there's something clearly wrong with it. And the main point is when they're in the photo themselves. So that example just showed you there. Obviously, it's a nice sunny day, and the guy's taking a photo of the house, and there's this massive shadow across the driveway where he stood. Now, some people won't pay any notice to that. I think it's fucking hilarious. Like, I just think attention to detail. Like, if you saw that, you could realise, I'm in the shadow. You just take a step to the right and get yourself out the shadow, so it's not the first thing people see.
It's a classic example of estate agents not being natural marketers.
Or attention to detail, not caring. There's a list, isn't there?
Yeah. Do you reckon it puts people off though?
Well, this is the thing. I don't know how many people actually pay attention to it. Whether it's just us noticing it with our OCD or marketing. But I'm sure people do. Like, the house would look better as a marketing photo without his shadow in it.
But I don't.
But would it be interrupt? Would it be the difference between someone inquiring or not? Possibly not.
Probably not, is it? I think we get OCD about this stuff.
Yeah.
Because we like putting the listings together. I like having an even amount of key features on the advert.
Absolutely. 8 or 10.
Because if you have an odd number, you've got 4 on one side and 3 on the other. It just annoys me. I like the
different
floor plan.
sizes. Sometimes they have like detached house, and then the other comment will be like living room opens up into the dining room plus conservatory at the back on one line.
Yeah.
So it's all the wrong size, and it's like, nah.
I hadn't really thought about that, but yeah, you're right.
They're all going to be the same size.
Similar,
or even at least.
Similar characters.
Yeah. There was another one I saw where smallest kitchen and the cooker's in the middle of the kitchen and the guy's taking a photo. What could be a guy? No, it wasn't guy's shoes, it was guy taking a photo and his feet are in the reflection in the oven.
It's so annoying, isn't it? And like when you see the shower screen as well with a reflection or a camera flash.
That's so easy. Like if you've got the screens that stick out, you just either open the screen if it's a slide, or you just push it in a little bit and the reflection goes.
So annoying.
Obvious. The thing is, I obviously use a lot of AI to edit my photos now, and you can't. It's very difficult to edit your reflection out of a screen because it doesn't know what to take. Because it's glass, it can't. I'm sure it can distinguish the difference, but it's not quite powerful enough. Like it brings tiles forward and just looks out of place. Yeah,
I can see that be a hard prompt to give it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's the difference between someone inquiring and someone not. Because I've toyed with this. We had a big listing recently, which we paid a photographer to come out to.
Oh, interesting.
Which was about.
They should have paid me. I would have done it.
You and your iPhone. but we do have pictures ourselves, not. You do good pictures, we do good pictures, but we thought, right, this warrants a professional.
Yeah. Whereas it's a massive fee, so yeah, you can actually fork out a couple £100 on photos, can't you?
Yeah, but then I looked at it, I thought actually it's not. The photos look better quality.
Yeah.
It's not the difference between someone inquiring or not.
And also, on Rightmove, like if you take photos on your iPhone or a 7,000. Do cameras even cost $7,000? I don't even know.
Oh yeah.
Right, that's okay. Quite a $7,000 camera. Can you tell the difference online? The way the photos are uploaded, because I imagine they only upload a certain quality. Like can't upload a file that's a gigabyte each photo.
No, I mean you do like the clarity of a proper camera. Like you do notice.
I think you notice a poorer camera than you notice a better camera.
I think to be fair, the wide angle lenses around the iPhone aren't as good as the regular lens.
Yeah, I hear that point actually. Yeah, and also I found on editing at the moment if you've got it's a particularly dull day and you've got a dark kitchen as well, when you try and brighten it up, it pixelates a little bit.
Yeah, it's a bit grainy.
Yeah.
So, but again, I don't think it's the difference between. No. Which is why I don't.
I think the angles are more important and the cleanliness and tidiness of the home.
Yeah, I agree, and which is why I don't think it's the difference between the house being sold properly or the house not being sold properly.
Yeah, good point.
I think it's as long as they're a certain quality,
Yeah,
then you're all right.
there we go. But it still makes us laugh. And if you do see any photos of estate agents in photos, like please send them through to us because like we find them amusing. So ping us through to us on social media because we'll use them in the chat as well. It's good fun.
The shadow in front of the house though is great, like
Yeah.
a long shadow going up to the house.
You haven't even seen it yet. It's going to amuse you when you see it. I'll show you in a minute.
It's a challenge though, isn't it? Because sometimes when the sun, it's almost good to have the sun in that direction facing on the house.
Yeah.
Another pet peeve, when people get the camera right in the corner, like CCTV angles.
You used to tell me. I used to angle my photos down. You used to tell me that. So now I have when we use my tripod, I have it on the two legs down. I used to put it on 3 and then angle down.
Oh.
Now I straight on.
Oh really? You're taking my feedback on board?
I have, yeah. And on the iPhone now, there's like a little measure in the middle. Have you seen that? It comes up with like a little yellow line when you're off centre.
Well, if you just tilt it.
No, twist it. Oh wait. Oh mate, yours doesn't do it. I'll show you mine after. It's so much better. I'll show you in a minute.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, cool. So that's a fun topic to start with. Shit estate agency photos. Do people genuinely care, or is it just us people being pernickety and just thinking we've got nothing better to do in our lives and pick fault with other people's marketing?
Yeah, because that's the kind of sad people. Yeah. We have high standards.
Yeah. And on that somber note, should we segue into I'd say it's an all-consuming part of your life for the time it took to get things from the first call to where we are now. So you can say what you like, say what you not like. Obviously, like full disclaimer, it's still an ongoing investigation. So
It sounds so serious.
we can't talk a lot about the detail,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's important for you to share what you want to share and not share what you don't want to share. But
What I realised...
floor is yours.
So, it's funny, because what I've realised going through this process is I fully am just okay with everyone knowing my business at all times, and I'm too honest for my own good. So, this it's a desk-based, it's an intervention is what I'm going through with, which is what they call it. So HMRC called me up on the 2nd of January
Yeah.
and were like, Matt, we can see you're registered for anti-money laundering supervision. We need to have a desk-based intervention, they called it.
Right.
So at the end of January, we had a call, and
Did you think it was a good thing when they first called?
I thought it was a prank,
Oh.
and everyone else told me it was a prank.
Yeah.
Because I got about
As in a
5...
call, like a dodgy call.
Yeah, because you know they always say, like
Yeah.
HMRC send out correspondence being like, we will never call you or text you, we'll always email you and stuff. This person sounded very legitimate, and I said, hang on a minute, well, how do I know you're who you say you are? They were like, well, what do you want to know? I was like, I don't know. But sure enough, it was HMRC, and they want to check my records, my anti-money laundering compliance,
Yeah.
which is just part of being an estate agent.
Yeah.
We're both registered for it. We both follow certain procedures, so that's ongoing with them at the moment. But it's just been a whole thing. You don't expect to start the year and have that come up. So it's ongoing. So I don't actually know the outcome of it, so I can't comment.
Yeah.
But either way, this is what I mean about me being too honest. Either way, I was like, well, if I didn't mind anyone knowing my business.
Yeah.
Is my point. It wasn't like this.
You weren't
secret
hiding
thing.
anything.
No, I was like, I know what I do. I know what I've done. I know the processes I've got in place. Like maybe I need to tweak stuff or amend stuff, and that's fine. I can do that. But
What was it? Like, the actual call itself was obviously it was a long call you had with them, like 3 or 4 hours, wasn't it?
it was 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours, which is a long time on a phone. How did you feel throughout that process? Were you nervous, scared, energized?
I think I was all right. They told me it was going to be 5 hours, and it was 2.5. I think the challenge was all of the preparation I'd done kind of went out the window, and the questions they asked were not what I thought they would be.
Is it, like an analogy, was it like, it was like planning for an exam, and you've learned all the answers that you should have learnt for the exam, and then you open the thing, and you're like, what the fuck, I didn't learn that.
I was planning for a maths exam and I had a science exam. It was like that.
Maths and physics goes hand in hand.
Yeah, I mean there was some overlap. There was some overlap, but yeah. So and at the end of the call, they told me to block out 5 hours.
Yeah.
So I blocked out 5 hours, and after 2.5 hours, they were like, "Right, Mr. Barrett, that's all the questions." And I was saying to them like, "Well, I've got all my transaction records here prepared for you because you told me to have them ready. So can we just stay on the call and go through them?" And they were like, "Oh no, we can't do that." I was like, "No, let's just jump on a screen share now and we can go through them all." They were like, "We're not allowed to do screen shares." I was like, "Come on guys, I've got another 2.5 hours." So I was trying to keep them on the call because I wanted to go through everything because I'd spent all month like
building up to
getting everything ready. So yeah, and I'm a new business. I've been doing this for nearly 2 years. And I'm sure there's things which might apply to bigger businesses which won't apply to me. So I'm just waiting to see how it goes, really. But it's funny because I don't know anyone in the business who's this has happened to. No. You don't. You've been doing this longer than me. No one in the group knows of it happening.
I think for the self-employed model, like it's an interesting one because you feel like if HMRC, whether they're there to, clearly the first goal for them is to make sure that everyone is looking out for people laundering money to stop crime. That is the definition of anti-money laundering. Prevention of using proceeds of crime funds to purchase property.
Yeah.
That's their main goal. But then do you feel like they go through a list and just pick anyone at random, or do they think, "Oh, that company's massive, that's going to be a difficult one to do. Reading agent, Matt Barrell. He looks like a relatively. Well, I reckon we can get money out of him. Bang."
Yeah, I don't know. I think the outcome of it will be really interesting because I don't think, based upon my correspondence and conversations with them, that giving me a penalty would be reasonable. Like, I honestly don't think that would be reasonable.
No.
But if they do, then I think it's just them grabbing low-hanging fruit.
Yeah,
basically.
That's what I mean. Pick on the little guy.
Yeah, so we'll see. I also have been trying to make sense of like how it relates to money laundering, and I don't really think it does. Really.
What's that? Sorry. The processes.
The processes and the way it's. For example, the way I've been audited, the way the things we have to do, I don't understand it as the most efficient system to stop money laundering, is what I'm saying. I don't understand it. I think there would be other systems to be put in place that would be more effective.
Yeah.
Because basically what all of us are doing with the money laundering process is, you've got yours, I've got mine, we're both under avocado, and then everyone has to have their own things. Basically, all it boils down to is, do you need to report someone to the National Crime Agency? That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like, do we need to report someone to the National Crime Agency, and are they on the financial sanctions list?
Yeah.
Like, that's all it is.
Yeah.
But you've got all of these processes, these policies, these documents, these interventions, other interventions, workshops, training courses, all to just like, do you need to report this person to the National Crime Agency?
I totally see your point. However, I'm going to disagree with it.
Yeah.
Because yes, what you've done there is like, what we're looking for? Do we need to report anyone because there's suspicion of them laundering money? Mm-hmm. But if those processes aren't in place before, like your business risk assessment, your checks you do with people, checking the proof of funds, you can't just meet someone and go, "Oh, you smell a bit dodgy." Money laundering.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. You're right.
Am I?
Yeah.
Am I?
No, you are right. But there has to be some basis for it.
But I hear the point. For you to be penalised, and let's think, and I really, really hope it's not going to be that case. But for you to be penalised because you know what you're doing, you've done the courses, you're getting the checks done, everything. But just because you didn't have it documented in the right way, I feel like it should be less of an issue. At the end of the day, they should be looking at the files and did something get through the net, and then
I
look back
think
at
so.
them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think for me, it's like, do you look at a business which is coming up for 2 years old, is clearly making an effort to get it right, but has maybe could change a few things.
Yeah, I think, and I hate to say that obviously you're the first one out of the people
I'm
that
a
I
guinea
know.
pig. Yeah.
Yeah, but I must admit it's massively opened my eyes on it because I've suddenly done, like, I'm a fucking AML expert now. I've
Yeah.
done webinars, I've got various certification, got spreadsheets galore, man.
Yeah.
IDs everywhere. Oh, mate, it's just all there, one section. I'm watertight. Maybe not for my first couple of transactions, but I'm working through it.
Don't say that. Don't put this out.
Scrap that bit. Mate.
Yeah.
You know what, mate? Imagine if someone from HMRC did watch this.
Yeah, I think they're.
But I don't think it's anything bad. Like, look, we appreciate the job that HMRC do. They are there to govern cowboys that are breaking the law and letting people get away with dodgy dealings. You know, how can they say Ryan or Matt aren't one of those guys?
Yeah,
We're absolutely
we have to
not. Full disclosure. But yeah, you've got to do due diligence, haven't you?
Yeah, so I get it. I think what I've found quite hard to accept is the lack of actual. Everyone talks about self-employed estate agencies of future. Go self-employed, make all this money, don't have to pay tax here. Like, it's really great. Nobody's like, here's what you need to do.
Yeah, there's no, maybe because it's still so new and fresh, like a lot of these businesses popping up everywhere, maybe there isn't actually a blueprint for it yet.
Because they mention it in the guidance. I mean, the guidance, it's a big old document and it's not easy to find what you need to find.
But I do think it will become more important and there'll be more of a guide for people to deal with it.
Yeah, and I can see, it's been my first, like, I can see why consultants exist.
Yeah.
I can see how that job is born.
Yeah.
Because if you're me, you don't have the funds to hire a consultant. But if you're a little bit bigger, you go, yeah, right, I'm worried about this $5,000 consultant, $10,000 consultant.
Yeah.
Someone comes in and...
Yeah, this, that and the other. Tells us what we need to do. Who do we need to sack?
One of the... You know, we both did the webinar the other day. And someone asked a question.
Yeah.
What's the minimum I need to do to be compliant?
Yeah.
And both of the people on the call, like, really like, oh, you shouldn't be asking questions like that and you should be taking this more seriously.
Yeah.
Like, I'm somewhere in the middle of those two things.
Yeah.
Because I think, I don't know, I think, again, the people probably like us will probably end up doing too much.
Yeah.
And the big people will probably end up doing too little. So,
But
I don't know.
There's no right or wrong answer, I don't think. And I think it was, I can get why that estate agent asked that question. What's the the smallest amount I can do to be compliant?
Yeah.
I understand why they ask it because everyone's busy and they're running, everyone's running around, wants to sell houses, blah, blah, blah. You want to meet people, we want to talk to people, that's what we do. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be bogged down with admin. Get where they're coming from. But ultimately, it's not a case of how, like, are you safe and secure in your knowledge that you've done everything you can to confirm that person, you've done all your checks, that they're not money laundering. Mm. If that takes someone 3 documents or that takes someone 10 documents, it's down to the individual. If you think you're compliant, then that's great. There's no minimum standard. You should do what you need to do to get the job done. Mm. But as you said, some people do more than others. I do a lot more now.
I'm going to be doing less as a result of this.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing
So less. I've started taking 2 forms of ID and doing enhanced checks.
As standard?
As standard.
Yeah, because I'm not. Or I don't, like, again, I don't know the outcome. But to me, it doesn't seem... I do the Quidas check, which matches them to the address, confirms their name, tells me if they're on the sanctions list, and flags if they could be a PEP.
Yeah.
So I'm satisfied they've got an address, they are who they say they are, they're not on the list, and if they're flagged as a PEP, I can look into that. So how does me collecting a utility bill and another form of ID?
Yeah, I suppose the check is the check, isn't it?
Do you know, like for me to do that as standard, it's a lot more work, which I don't mind. Like,
is it though? Can you send me your IDs? I'll take a photo on the appointment. even just to get the
But then
names
if you
right.
take a photo, is that certified? How does someone check it?
No, none of it's certified. Obviously, it's just there, so I know who they are, and it's saved in my records.
Yeah, but are you going to certify it? Like,
I suppose I'm not, am I?
do you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
raises
So
a-
actually, am I just doing it for the sake of it? But I've got ID. Well done. It's not certified. Well, I took it. Prove
Yeah.
it.
Well, yeah.
It was on my iPad like 2 years ago.
So what I want to do for my business is standard do these checks, but if there's any concern, then you do certified ID, certified proof of address, check the land registry.
I'm with you.
There
There we go.
Very, very boring.
Well, yeah,
But,
it gets a little bit intense, doesn't it? But I think probably the end of the conversation there really is just to say, anyone who's watching that isn't an estate agent, like make sure you know what you're doing on anti-money laundering. I really would, and we ain't got shares in Rightmove. I'm obviously not a big fan of Rightmove particularly. They cost. But they're on the Rightmove hub. There's loads of online courses you can do for AML just to get yourself covered. Valid for a year. You do it once a year, so you know it's a good thing. It's a good source. It's a good resource to look on, and they've got webinars about AML shit, that AML stuff, AML bits.
And also, as agents, there's not an awful lot of legal stuff we have to do really
not at all.
to comply.
Yeah.
It's almost frustrating to me we don't have to do more sort of like standards and customer care regulation stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And the money laundering side of it, to me, should kind of fall under the solicitors, and there should be a more collaborative link there.
Yeah, I understand.
But I can see why there's not. Anyway.
There we go.
So
there we go. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, should we wrap up that riveting episode?
Yeah, sorry to lose half our audience talking about compliance.
No, I think it was good to. Like, I talked about my car issue, Lauren's car issue last episode. You talked about your AML issue this episode. Next episode, we can be nice and happy and talk about all the sales we've done and just the perks and joys of running your own business. Even though we don't run our own business, we're technically employed. We're just not. We're just self-employed.
Yeah, what would you class yourself as, actually?
Legend? Nah. I'm a self-employed estate agent.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, me
That's
too.
what I am.
Me too.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, thanks everyone.
See you next episode for 38. Catch you soon.
See you in the next one.
Thanks all.